You will never calling that guy. Stephen A. Smith's comments on Skip Bayless not picking up the phone is hard to believe, says journalist. Stephen A. Smith and Jason Whitlock, who are both commentators and analysts in the world of sports, have had a long-running feud, fueled by both personal and professional reasons. In the past years, Stephen A. often refers to Whitlock as the worst human being or other similar titles. Recently, he described Whitlock as the devil incarnate and said that he would never pick up the phone had Whitlock come calling in, which Whitlock's team found hilarious and said, "You will never call that guy." In one of the live broadcasts of the Fearless show, Jason Whitlock and his co-hosts were discussing Stephen A. Smith's recent statements on the topic of Skip Bayless not returning his calls. During his piece, Stephen A. touched on the only person whose call I won't answer, who he described as the devil incarnate. His whole deal about "I'm the devil because I expose the truth about you." Whitlock reacted on the topic, "Well, like holy cow, these guys are afraid of me." That was what I heard. All of Whitlock's co-hosts, Steve Kim, found it hilarious that Stephen A. Smith would think that Jason would even want to call him. The whole ego to think, Jason, that you would want to call Stephen A. Kim said, "I mean, Jason, you barely return the calls from us and you theoretically like us." He added, "And actually we actually work with you. Like seriously, if you can't return our calls, and you rarely do within a day, you're never calling that guy, right?" Let's be honest about this. Fearless host on Stephen A. Smith calling Skip Bayless out. He looks bad here. In his appearance on the Talk with Flea podcast, Stephen A. Smith touched on Skip Bayless, cutting him off and not answering his calls. Stephen A. compared Skip to himself by highlighting how even the people who pissed him would get a call back from him. But that was not his experience with Skip. Jason Whitlock shared his insight on the issue, saying that Stephen A. looks bad in the story. Skip bailed Stephen A. out when Stephen A. was out of favor at ESPN, he said. He brought him on to rehabilitate himself, and now that Skip is on his backside, Stephen A. Smith ain't trying to bail Skip Bayless out, and Skip don't want to hear from him.